Imagine this precise moment. You're here, listening, and in an instant, without any warning, the oldest and most constant force in your existence simply winks out of reality. Gravity is gone. The first sensation is not panic. It is pure confusion. The device you're holding suddenly feels weightless. You uncurl your fingers, and it does not fall. It just hangs there, suspended in the space you left it. You shift in your seat, and instead of settling back down, you drift upwards, gently tugged only by your clothing. A surreal and silent ballet begins around you. Dust motes, once invisible, now dance in sunbeams like tiny galaxies. The liquid in a glass forms a shimmering, wobbling sphere midair. For about 10 seconds, it is magical. It is the ultimate childhood dream of flight. But the dream curdles as your own body reports the first critical failures. That slight, sudden headache you might dismiss is the first warning sign. Our bodies are masterpieces of engineering for a one-gravity environment. Our cardiovascular system is a complex work of pumps and gravity-assisted flow. Without the steady pull downwards, blood stops pooling in your legs and feet. Instead, it rushes upward toward your chest and head. The pressure in your cranial vessels builds rapidly. Your face feels full and hot. Your neck pulses visibly. You are not floating gracefully. You are becoming a biological balloon, inflating from the inside. This is what astronauts train for years to manage, and they have advanced suits and controlled environments. You have neither. Within minutes, a profound disorientation sets in. Severe space adaptation syndrome, a nausea far worse than any seasickness, takes hold. Your heart, a muscle that has relied on gravity to help manage the flow, now struggles violently against this new, uniform pressure. Within the first hour, for many, it would lead to stroke, cerebral hemorrhage, or catastrophic heart failure. The human body, in its current form, is a prisoner of gravity. True freedom from it is a swift death sentence. Now listen, that low, deep rumble you begin to hear in the distance is the sound of the world coming undone. Your home, your city, the very ground beneath you is only ever a temporary arrangement. Gravity was the glue. Without it, everything becomes unbound. Start with the small things. Every object, not structurally fused to another, is now adrift. Books, lamps, furniture, cars, loose soil from gardens. But soon, the bonded things begin to fail. Concrete, held together by compressive force, starts to splinter and crack. The nails and bolts holding buildings together are under new, unnatural stresses. Structures don't just float intact. They twist, rupture, and disintegrate as their own component materials rebel against each other. Now look outside. The ground itself is no longer ground. The topsoil, the bedrock, the massive tectonic plates, all of it was held in a delicate, pressurized balance by the immense weight of the planet above it. With that weight nullified, the pent-up energy releases in an instant. This is not an earthquake. That word is too small. This is the planet's crust experiencing a nervous breakdown on a global scale. Continents fracture like dried clay. Mountain ranges, once pushed skyward by titanic forces, now have no reason to stay down. They crumble, and their fragments join the immense, slow-motion avalanche of debris lifting off from the surface of the Earth. A reverse snowfall of rock and dirt silently rising toward the stars. And then the air leaves. Our atmosphere is a captive audience, held in place solely by Earth's gravitational embrace. Remove the embrace, and the show ends. The gases, the nitrogen, the oxygen, the very breath in your lungs expand violently outward. It begins as the greatest hurricane in history, a wind tearing across the planet at thousands of miles per hour, scouring the surface clean of anything not part of the bedrock itself. But it does not stop as a storm. It continues, thinning and dissipating, as the entire atmosphere bleeds out into the vacuum of space. The sky would turn from blue to deep indigo, to a perfect star-speckled black, all in a matter of minutes. In the utter silence that follows the final roar, you would suffocate but you might freeze or boil from the wild temperature swings first. Let us pull the camera back. Orbit. The International Space Station, once in a careful balance between velocity and gravity's pull, is now hurled off on a straight-line tangent into the void. But that is the least of our worries. Look at the moon. Its beautiful, eternal orbit around Earth is not a given. It is a constant fall, curved by gravity into a circle. Erase gravity, and the moon's path straightens instantly. It does not zoom away dramatically. It simply departs, a silent, gray companion set adrift on a new, lonely path through the solar system, forever lost to us. And Earth itself, our planet, is not a stationary home. It is a projectile. It is hurtling around the sun at roughly 30 kilometers per second, held in that curved path by the sun's immense gravitational pull. The moment gravity ceases, Earth ceases to curve. It obeys Newton's first law. An object in motion stays in motion in a straight line. Our planet, along with every loose piece of its now disintegrating body, is ejected from the solar system like a stone from a sling. We become a rogue planet, shooting into the freezing, sunless interstellar darkness. We must zoom out further to see the true horror. This is not an Earth-centric event. Gravity is not a local rule. It is the universal architect. The solar system collapses. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, each planet flies off on its own deadly tangent. The delicate orbital dance of asteroids becomes a cloud of shrapnel. But consider the sun. The sun exists because of gravity. For billions of years, gravity has crushed the solar core, creating the immense pressure and temperature needed to ignite and sustain nuclear fusion. Remove gravity, and that balancing act ends catastrophically. The core is no longer contained. It explodes outward in one final, runaway, fusion flash. The sun would not just go out. It would blow apart, scattering its plasma across space. And still further. Galaxies are held together by the gravitational pull of their supermassive black holes and dark matter halos. That structure dissolves. The beautiful spiral arms of the Milky Way unwind. Stars drift apart like dandelion seeds in a breeze. The universe itself, on the largest scales, is still expanding, but the tiny local pockets of order, the galaxies, the clusters, they cease to be. The cosmos becomes a dark, ever-thinning soup of isolated atoms and particles, forever alone, never to clump into planets or stars again. So what if gravity disappeared? We have asked a question about floating, but we have received an answer about the meaning of existence itself. Gravity is not merely a force that holds us down. It is the force that gathered the primordial dust to form our world. It is the sculptor that carved mountains and holds oceans in their basins. It is the clockwork that guides planets and stars in their eternal dances. It is the cosmic glue that builds order from chaos. Its absence is not freedom. It is the absolute and final end of structure. We would not just be weightless. We would witness the live deconstruction of everything, from our own failing biology to the very fabric of the cosmos. It is the single most violent and total what if we can conceive. It reminds us, with terrifying clarity, that we do not live on a planet. We are part of it, held in a fragile, beautiful, and utterly necessary embrace by a silent, invisible force. A force whose true purpose is not to bind us, but to build everything we have ever known, loved, or wondered at. To imagine a universe without it is to imagine a universe that never was and never could be.